Hey everyone and welcome to another video guys, and today we're doing another episode of Pro Player Insight. This time round we're going to be highlighting Rookie and specifically his Sylas. Now in the VOD we're going to be going over today, he plays Sylas into Twisted Fate, and I would say this is a pretty Sylas favored matchup post level 6, but levels 1 to 6 it can be quite problematic for the Sylas if the Twisted Fate is able to really utilize the E passive and make sure he weaves in those auto attacks, and it does very much depend on the runes and the setup that the Twisted Fate goes. If TF actually goes Electrocute with Ignite, it can be quite Twisted Fate favored, especially within the early game. But in this game specifically, Twisted Fate opts in for Unsealed Spellbook, so Sylas isn't going to have too much of a rough time in the early laning phase. Now, in terms of runes, pretty stock standard with a few little alterations. Fleet Footwork, Presence of Mind, Legend Tenacity, which is all stock standard. This is a little weird though. He does go Last Stand instead of, he does go Coup de Grace instead of Last Stand, which is weird given the way Sylas trades. Like, he wants to drop low as possible in order to get max value from that W, in which Last Stand really comes into play. So usually you do see Last Stand on Sylas, and on the right hand side he goes Time Warp Tonic with Biscuits instead of Cosmic Insight, which suggests, like he does here, start Corrupting Pot, which usually you only want to be going Time Warp Tonic and Biscuits if you're playing very aggressive and very fast. Now, I don't know if I fully agree with this because Sylas doesn't have the strongest like levels 1 to 6 or 1 to 4 or 1 to 5. This is generally why you do see Biscuits with Cosmic Insight with a Doran's Ring start, in which Doran's Ring gives you a little bit more durability, gives you a little bit more healing because it has AP, and the AP obviously combined with the Fleet Footwork will give you a little bit more healing there, and you can play a little bit slower. So with the Coup de Grace here, the Time Warp Tonic, the Corrupting Pot, it does suggest that he will be playing quite aggressively, so it'll be very interesting to see how he manages those early trading patterns. Now, in terms of builds, pretty stock standard. Corrupting Pot, Dark Seal, he rushes Mercs into Twisted Fate, which makes a lot of sense. If you're playing a champion that can't afford to take Cleanse and you really need TP, rushing Mercs is very valuable. Then he goes the stock standard build, the GLP, the Hose into the Liandry's. So pretty stock standard, and we're versing a Lee Sin versus a Graves in the jungle. So what exactly are we looking for today? The first thing I want to look for is how he manages to slow down the game pace. Now, in my recent video within my solo queue concept series, I spoke about game pace. Now, in this VOD specifically, Rookie dies twice pre-level 3. Now, when you die twice that early in the game, you really want to slow down the game pace to get to your key item spikes. And Rookie does a great job of this. So I really want to highlight it within this video. And it's going to be a great practical example of how to do it even at a high level. Number 2, he is great at not compensating for his teammates. There was a lot of times within this VOD where he maybe could have TP'd, or he could have roamed, or he could have went to that play, but he chose not to because it wasn't good for him. So he's very patient and does not compensate for his teammates. So I really want to highlight that. The third thing I want to highlight is just his overall skirmish assessment. Rookie is known for having amazing skirmish assessment. So I want to go very deep on this and really figure out why is he playing the skirmishes the way he is. Specifically, he holds abilities, the way he positions, he does things in a very unorthodox way that, to be honest with you, I just don't know how he does it. So let's go very deep on that as well. And number 4, CSing. And most Sylases that you do see have very low CS numbers, but he seems to know how to CS very well with Sylas, so let's actually take a look at that as well. And remember guys, not everything he does is correct. You know, he's obviously playing on stream. He's probably not try-harding. I mean, maybe he just autopilots a little bit in solo queue, or maybe this is just the way he plays solo queue. Not everything he does is going to be correct. So we need to maintain an open and critical mind. And the last point here, guys, at the end of the video, I'm going to go through another slide covering the key mistakes and main learnings that we can take away from this video, guys. So let's dive straight into the VOD. Diving straight into the VOD here, guys, let's quickly take a look at the team compositions. Now, in the top lane, it's actually a Cassiopeia versus a Jax, which is an incredibly snowbally and heavy trading matchup. Now, if I'm playing Sylas in this situation, I'm doing whatever it takes to prevent this Twisted Fate from influencing this top matchup. In the jungle matchup, Graves versus Lee Sin will probably be quite active from level 3 onwards. Graves isn't the sort of champion to look to go for, you know, level 2, level 3 ganks, although he can, but Graves will probably want to be getting a tempo or a jungle camp advantage over this Lee Sin. The bot matchup is again quite heavy trading, Ashe into Jhin with Leona into Thresh, very CC oriented melee champion. So across the board, this does seem like it's going to be a very chaotic, heavy trading game with a lot of options for this Twist of Fate. So I'd be quite scared if I was Rook in this situation and do whatever it takes to prevent this Twist of Fate from exploding the game. Now, Lee Sin's getting a leash on the bot side here from his bot lane. Looks like Cassiopeia just started in lane top, so Graves obviously started red here. Now, generally, you don't see this lane get played like this from the Sylas. Like, he's already pushing into the Twisted Fate and looking for heavy trades, even at level 1 like this. I mean, this is okay, given he's gone Corrupting Pot. Like, he's already popped one of his Corrupting Pots, and he's taken Time Warp Tonic. This suggests, whenever I see a player play like this level 1, this means, to me, if I'm in the Twisted Fate shoes, I'm thinking, okay, this guy really wants to get level 2 first and take an aggressive level 2 trade onto me. So, maybe this is the way Rookie tries to interpret this matchup. I'm not sure. But this does seem like a very, pretty crazy way to play the matchup. Just going back here, one thing we do see, Jax actually dies solo 1v1, which is very problematic. Now, he gets level 2 off the first minion of the second wave, goes for Q. There's a very heavy trade here. Graves recognizes that Sylas is overextended within the lane here. Level 2, I believe that's red straight to mid. Rookie ends up failing his flash and dying here. This is absolute worst case scenario. Blowing flash and still dying, and I believe Twist of Fate didn't even need to flash. The only saving grace is that his bot lane actually got a kill 2v2, but his top lane actually died. Now, he TP's back, unable to buy anything but a pink ward. Now, if we're in this situation, guys, I want you to think, where would you think Graves is? What could he be doing right now? Now, Rookie actually didn't press tab, so I don't know what Graves has done, but I'm assuming Graves literally went straight from red to mid here. Now, this is something you guys got to keep in mind when watching these VODs. Most of the Graves in your situation, in your games, aren't going to do this sort of gank. But at high elo, the junglers are very adaptable. They read lanes incredibly well. The Graves obviously panned his camera mid and was like, oh, what the hell? Rookie's playing like a psycho. I have a champion mid that has a point-and-click stun with a lot of gank setup. I'm going to go to my top side anyway. Why not just maybe skip a camp and go through mid anyway? And maybe see if I can chunk him out or get a kill. So I believe Graves ends up burning flash there, but yeah, in high elo, you've got to be ready to adapt. Junglers will do some crazy paths because they're very aware of the lane state. So he TP's back, unable to afford Darkseal, just gets a pink ward. Graves, now in this situation, is probably going to be getting his blue, maybe blue Gromp, and then either go to loop back mid or go top. There's a lot of options that Graves can do right now. Now, one thing, guys, I want you to take a look at in this VOD specifically is, I'm not a fan of Rookie's warding. Okay, throughout this entire VOD, let's keep an eye on his warding. I'm really not a fan of his wards. And if you've maybe watched my jungle tracking video, you'll know that this ward really doesn't do much. Yes, there's a chance that Graves re-ganks mid through here, knowing that he doesn't have flash. But what do we also know? We also know that Graves can easily loop from above there and come from around the back. What's to say Graves won't do that? It's a more reliable ganking path anyway. So this ward doesn't really give you a side to lean onto. That's the danger of these wards. It doesn't allow you to heavy lean onto either side right now. So Rookie is again heavy trading very aggressively here. He's just eating through the creeps here, getting a very nice trade. And then again, Graves loops back around, and they get another kill. Now, Graves is both recognizing that Twist of Fate has great gank setup. Rookie has no flash anymore, so they're able to punish him and get the wave in. So Rookie is in an incredibly crap spot right now. He's now based twice, died twice. Luckily, Twist of Fate hasn't got either of the kills. Graves has got both of the kills. But he hasn't been able to buy anything. So this is very problematic. And so far, man, I mean, I'm not impressed with Rookie's warding right now and overall jungle tracking. So he's trying to pan his camera top to see the top situation. His top is able to get another kill back, so it's a very heavy trading top matchup. Now, from right now, this is probably going to be one of the main takeaways from this VOD, guys, is Rookie and his ability to slow down the game pace. And if you watch my game pace video, what is one of the main things you want to do? You want to take very calculated trades. You don't want to heavy trade anymore. Right? So every time before he's died twice, what have we seen? He's been trading very, very aggressively, eating forward, queuing forward, diving, really deep into the lane, pushing. But now, look at how he adapts his gameplay. He recognizes, well, he's kind of screwed right now, right? He doesn't have any items. He doesn't have any summoners. He takes very calculated trades. And this is generally what you want to be doing to slow down the game pace. You want to be holding the wave in the middle or slightly on your side, warding safely to one side, and really just staying as healthy as possible. So he does a nice little Q there onto the Twist of Fate. Twist of Fate went back for a Dark Seal and a Ruby Crystal. Hasn't got the Catalyst yet, fortunately. Now, likely in this situation, just for raw jungle pathing, I'm assuming Graves went to bot scuttle and then is probably going to look for an insta reset, then go straight back onto his bot side camps. That's what I would think. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see Graves back onto the bot side soon. So as you can see here, look at Rookie. He's not really heavy tree. He's not eating forward anymore, is he? He's taking it slow, queuing Twist of Fate whenever he can. Really focusing on his CS, trying to utilize his fleet footwork to stay healthy in the lane. He hasn't used any corrupting pot. This is actually the first time he used a corrupting pot here. Gets hit by that Q. He probably really shouldn't have gone for that Q. Doesn't feel safe going onto that Twisted Fate, knowing that his jungler's not in the area and he doesn't know where Graves is. Now again, he does this really sloppy ward over that wall. He does a sloppy ward over that wall, guys. And again, I'm really not a fan of it because it doesn't give you a side to lean onto. It really doesn't. So it looks like Lee Sin is going for a top gank here. Rookie's taking it very slow. Graves comes back from top side, which is super interesting here. Now, one thing he does, you can see, clicks here, sees that Graves has come off a reset. So he's level 5. This Graves is quite far ahead. I'm assuming Graves was actually looking for Lee Sin's Raptors, potentially. Not sure what Graves was doing on top side there. Now, Twisted Fate's actually going for another tempo reset. Look how well Rookie CS is under tower here, by the way. He doesn't miss any of this CS. Really, really solid CSing. I think the VOD actually pauses for a little bit here, unfortunately. But he gets all of this CS. Now, he does see Graves pathing back onto bot side, thankfully, through Ash's Hawk Shot. So he knows right now Graves is on those Krugs. And now, because he saw Twisted Fate warding on, basing on that ward, he's able to shove and look for another reset. Now, what do we know so far? Twisted Fate, that's a really good recall for Twisted Fate. He based on a cannon wave. He's going to come back with tempo over the Sylas, which means it's going to be a window for him to utilize ult, given they're actually close to 6 as well. So props to that Twisted Fate for doing a very calculated recall. So Sylas, right now, he's accepted reality that he's behind. There's not really much he can do. And he gets back to base on a solid amount of gold, 1100 gold. So we'll see if he goes for a Mercs or not. So Twisted Fate comes back with tempo. And now he actually pings Twisted Fate's R 3 times in base right now. So I don't like that. I personally prefer to like spam ping mid or like type something, but he just spam pings Twisted Fate R right now. Lee Sin goes for a really nice gank. He doesn't end up finishing his Mercs. He just goes for the Dark Seal instead. Bot is heavy trading. Graves gets another gank off bot. He begins to ping Twisted Fate missing there. So he does spam ping. Gets all of this CS quite effectively. Now he's 6. Okay, now he's 6. One thing here, he doesn't instantly take Twisted Fate ult. He could have taken Twisted Fate ult a little bit earlier, but he doesn't. Ends up taking it as soon as he does see him, actually. So take that back. He does end up taking it pretty soon. Now, Twisted Fate ults. Let's play this out once, and then I want to go back over it a second time. Twisted Fate ults onto the Ashe. Gold cards. Then Rookie goes. Okay, before we go any further here, I want to look at this. Okay, so he takes the ult, prepare, maybe thinking that Twisted Fate was going to be using it proactively soon. I'm not sure. What do we see on the map? Lee Sin's coming out of base right here with Leona. Ashe is by herself in the jungle, and they see Graves on the Gromp. Now, right now, when you see the enemy Twisted Fate posturing like this, you can put 2 and 2 together. You know, most likely Twisted Fate's going to be going for an aggressive play here. So Twisted Fate ults. Now, most people in this situation, most Sylases, or if you're responding to a Twisted Fate ult, they will instantly use Twisted Fate ult as well, and they will go. But what he does very well here is he waits like, 1 or 2 seconds to assess the situation. He waits to see if Twisted Fate actually commits to the play. Because right now, he thinks, okay, let's actually see if Ashe can just walk out. Like, if Rookie doesn't need to go, he doesn't want to. Right? Because he knows he doesn't want to waste that Twisted Fate ult. Then Twisted Fate continues to chase, and he sees Graves. Then he goes to respond. So I love that little brief period, 1 or 2 seconds, to think about the situation, assess the situation. And look at this skirmishing. I love how he just sits over the wall here, and he doesn't just chase him, so he can actually follow up on the back end. kites the Twist of Fate. Gets a really nice positioned Q there. Twist of Fate walks around it. Beautiful. Plays very slow. Gets a nice kill here. Gets another kill. So he ends up getting the one kill onto the Twist of Fate. Now he loops around here onto the Jhin. We'll see what happens. Twist of Fate is dead. Hits a very nice E into the Q, into the W. Passive. Jhin cleanses for some reason and he dies. Now, this is classic. This is textbook rookie. This sort of play. And this is what I mean, by the way, of pushing limits. Now, in solo queue, you'll see a lot of these players like, specifically Knight and Rookie. This is what I mean by just doing things that are objectively not the correct play. The correct play right now on paper would be to Sylas to go mid, crash that wave in and look for a quick reset. Or even just reset now, accepting reality that that wave is lost. Come back with tempo, back mid with Mercs, and just, you know, establish vision and play a very calculated way without giving Twist of Fate any space. But in this situation, he decides to push his limits and go for this very creative pick. Okay? Yes, he dies, but what does he learn by doing this? What does he learn in the process by doing it? This is how he is able to push his limits and learn as a player. Yes, he ints. Yes, he dies. But this is just Rookie. This is what Rookie does, what Knight does. They do things that don't really make sense on paper in order to just learn more and push their limits more. But anyway, not a bad little skirmish for him there. Ends up picking a kill on the back end and counter ganks that play. So, fast forwarding a little bit here, he's on his Mercs. Jax looks like he's winning that matchup quite hard now. So, that's an obvious win condition within itself. Sylas still isn't that strong. I mean, he can easily survive this matchup. Like, he's got his Mercs. He's all good right now. But he's definitely not power spiked yet. AoEs the wave down, groups the minions and AoEs them down with a Q. Now, this is another thing. Not a fan of that at all. Alright, again, another textbook rookie move. What do we see here, guys? Graves, Thresh, and the Jhin catch out the Leona on the bot river. So Ashe is running away right now and Dragon's available. Lee Sin realizes that, okay, top's a win condition. He's going to split the map and just go topside, knowing that he can't really contest bot anymore. So Rookie groups this here right now. So what should you do as a mid laner? You complement your winning side. You ditch bot. You leave it completely. There's none of your business to go bot side. You lean top side. You call for Rift Herald. You play the top side. Nothing you do bot side. What does he do? He tries to defend his ward and push off this Twist of Fate. And goes for a very aggressive E. And he's very lucky that E doesn't land because they're literally in the area right now. So either one or two things. He was maybe thinking, oh, Graves is on the Mountain Dragon, so they can't turn off it and go onto me. Like, I just don't like this. Like, this is just such you're just getting damage off onto someone in a very risky fashion. Really not a fan of that. Like, again, in terms of textbook League of Legends, that's generally not what you want to be doing. Like, he should have been complimenting this Lee Sin on topside jungle right now. Anyway, Twist of Fate's weaving in a lot of red cards here. He's hitting Q's back. Nothing too special going on. Graves ends up getting the Mountain Dragon. It'll be interesting to see how Rookie complements his winning side here, or what he ends up doing. Now, he can't actually take the Twist of Fate ult again, so there is going to be a window in which Twist of Fate will have ultimate and have the ability to move to a side lane. Goes for a very nice EQ. They collapse on him, dodges the Jhin W, turns back around, takes the Jhin ult. Twist of Fate dodges these. And they don't really get anything off that. I want to take a look at this again. So he goes for a nice little trade here. Bang, bang, Q, W, auto. Jhin comes, dodges the Jhin. Okay. I mean, solid. Don't mind it. Pretty nice. Misses most of the Jhin ults though. Not too bad. Now, he doesn't have any corrupting pots here, but he does have TP. Is Lee Sin dead? Oh, Lee Sin's dead. Okay. Wonder if he's just going to base here and TP back to mid. What is he going to do? He has no corrupting pots left. Okay, his Graves is very fed. Actually, I want to pause back on the score, but I want to see how the side lanes are going. So, bot's going okay. I would say it's relatively even. Mid is relatively even. I would say Twisted Fate's just up in XP. Graves is significantly far ahead in terms of gold over the Lee Sin, but I think XP wise, Lee Sin is completely fine, and top is just completely boomed. Like, I think Cassiopeia is out of the game. So Twisted Fate goes for a nice ult here. Like I said before, I knew he wouldn't really be able to match it. I love this. I love how he does not TP to this. Look at that. I love this. This is what I mean by not compensating. Okay, you get pushed in. He accepts reality that Twisted Fate has move over mid. Focuses on his CS under tower. Now, he could have TP. Theoretically, he could have TP'd to this play. He maybe could have TP'd to this minion or something, or TP'd to the tower, or tried to defend, but he doesn't. He knows, it's accept reality. The play's done. His Jax is dead. He's done. He can't do anything about it. He really needs to recall so he can save his TP to do something else, whether to get tempo mid or make another play on a side lane. So ends up going for a revolver here. Holds on to his TP. And this is just, again, the sad reality sometimes of playing Sylas or when any mid laner win behind. You can't do everything. At some point, you're going to have to make a sacrifice in order to value your own itemization and your own gold, your own power spikes. Do not compensate. Yes, you might get flamed, but it is what it is, man. He's confident in playing Sylas in the mid to late game here. And this is the consequence of dying twice early in the early game. Focuses on his CS here. CS is quite nice. He gets a really nice E chunk there with passive autos. Misses the Q, unfortunately. Doesn't have a ward. Did he not have gold for a pink ward? Hey, he's just lazy. Did not even buy a pink ward. Rookie, man. Honestly, his warding and his jungle tracking has been so subpar this game. I mean, I can't tell if this is just his level of play on stream or maybe he's autopiloting or whatever he's doing, but I'm just really not a fan. Now, this is a nice little thing he does do. He camps around the corner here and waits for Twisted Fate to walk up, then gets a really nice trade here. Great strategy that you guys can actually replicate within your solo queue games. Line of sighting people. Beautiful trade from Rookie. Nice. Now, he can actually take Twisted Fate ult soon. Now, Lee Sin is able to... He's shoving the wave in, knowing that Lee Sin can back him up here. Shoving the wave in as fast as possible. He's still not rushing it. He's still... Notice that. It's a little detail here, guys, but I need to talk about it. Notice how he's not panicking. He actually holds his passive auto until the actual minions get low enough and until he can actually last hit it. He doesn't rush it and miss all the CS. Very important. Sylas. CS is very important for Twisted CS is very important for Sylas. So they go for a nice little dive here. Lee Sin gets gold carded up, takes the Graves ult, mistimes the E. Graves ults while in the smoke screen. Beautiful skirmish here. They try to peel back onto this Graves. Lee Sin lands a Q boom. Okay, trade kills. Could have been a little bit better, but his bot lane also dies 2v2. Not good. So his bot lane just died 2v2. Jax TP's bot. Stays for mid tower here. Again, another non-compensation play. His Jax is getting, 2v1ing these guys. Okay? He could have actually TP'd to the skirmish right now. He could have TP'd to that skirmish, but he doesn't. He stays mid. He knows getting mid tower is way more important. Okay, Thresh is trying to peel. Jax kills the Jhin. Gets mid tower. Bases. Now look at this. TP coming out of the Twisted Fate. Rookie now has TP and 2100 gold and half resources. A lot of people in this situation will just insta TP. Look what he does. He does not compensate. He continues his recall to go back to base. Then insta recalls after he buys his item. Then he comes. Now, to be honest with you, this TP is a little bit weird because the play is kind of over. But again, I do want to highlight the fact that he does not compensate. He does not make a suboptimal call in order to, go to a play that is not good for him. He goes back to base, he buys his item first, replenishes his resource, then he TPs. So he comes to lane here. Ideally, his AD carry and support should be maybe swapping. Uses GLP, heavy trades. Wasn't the most optimal trade there. Gets the wave in. Flashes, flash for flash. Graves comes. Cassio TP, I'm assuming. And he gets out. Oh, Graves flash as well. Gets over the wall. All good. Okay. as you can see, a relatively fast-paced game. We're talking 26 kills by 12 minutes 40. So, a lot of kills this game. Classic high-elo Korean solo queue. Not as fast as Chinese Super Server solo queue, but definitely very fast. Now, he sits around the corner here. Waits for his team to come in. Again, I love this patience. This is what I'm talking about, patience. What do we see here? He knows they're in the area. He has his W available, has his GLP available, but he waits for his teammates to come in location first. He does not rush in first. He doesn't want to scare them. He waits for his teammates to be in location. Preps his E, E's into the wall, then gets insta E2 into a nice little trade into GLP, into Q, in which Lee Sin can follow up. Beautiful patience there. Waiting for his teammates to be in location so they can actually follow up on his CC. I love that, man. Rookie is so incredibly patient. His skirmishing is on another level. I really do admire the way he views the skirmishing in general. So we CS quite well this game, considering he died twice in the early game and the overall game base is very fast. Now, Dragon is the next objective. So it'll be interesting to see if he recalls before the Dragon spawns or what he ends up doing. Twist Fate's top, matching the Ashe. He knows he's isolated right here, or the only person that could be here is actually Cassio. Lee Sin's hovering him, though. Okay. Getting tower plates. Nothing really for him to do on top side. Looks like Lee Sin is on the Dragon. Jin and Twisted Fate at top. Oh. He misses the Cassio ult here. Oh. I think he maybe should have held on to it a little bit longer. Misses the Cassio ult. He gets Cassio stunned into W. Into misses GLP. And trades kills. Again, classic rookie, pushing limits, not afraid to trade one for one. Like, again, if he played that better, he would have got out. And this is the moral of the story, guys. You know, you could say, you know, this is actually something I recommend all pro players as well. Even anyone that has a strong mental. Now, if you were to look back at this VOD, maybe you're doing a VOD review of your own games, and you look at this situation, and you ask yourself, could I have killed this Cassio? Could I have taken the Cassio and actually gone for this diving and gone for this kill? Then if you never went for the play, you're never going to know, right? So if you're unsure if the play would work or not, go for it. Because you can review it after the game and talk and maybe think to yourself, oh, maybe that's the variable I didn't consider. Oh, if I considered that, or next time I need to consider this variable, then I'll know what to do. But if you never take the play, then it's going to be very difficult for you to improve over the long run. So I love how Rookie, and again, this is how the Shy, Knight, Rookie, they got so good, in my opinion. I believe that's one of the reasons they got so good, is that they're not afraid to go for those plays, push limits. Anyway, dies there. Lee Sin got the Dragon. It'll be interesting to see the lane assignments here. So mid tower is gone. Bot tower is still up. And it looks like Rift Herald will be the next objective here. So either he's going to go top, Ashe go mid, or Ashe just want to stay bot. Ashe wants to stay bot and get that bot tower. Looks like someone, Lee Sin's maybe pinging that Rift Herald. So he ends up going mid to catch the mid wave because Ashe for some reason went bot. Even though I don't like these lane assignments. I think Ashe should be mid and Sylas should be top and Jack's bot, to be honest with you. Alright, so he's mid here. Cassio top. Rift Herald next objective. Shoves the wave out for priority. Generally you want to be shoving priority. You know, spam priority at this point in time. It's all about objectives. Now he leans onto bot side. Why is he leaning onto bot side? Why is he doing this? Why is he leaning onto bot side? What? What is he... Ah, okay. So what I think he's doing here, even though I think he should be leaning topside, he sees Twisted Fate here, and I think he thinks that Twisted Fate is going to be moving up through here for this Rift Herald fight. So maybe he thinks he can make a pick in rotation and take the Twisted Fate ult, and then use Twisted Fate ult to the fight. That's why he pinks, and that's why he also wards here to see where Twisted Fate walks to, but maybe he realizes Twisted Fate's not going to go. Not a fan of that at all. I think he should have instant default response lent topside. I think they gave way too much space to the enemy here, but they end up grouping on it. Classic Korean solo queue group on the Rift Herald, very important. Steals the Graves ult. Now, I'm assuming he's going to be going bot. Okay, looks like a skirmish might be occurring here. Holy moly. Okay, place. Oh my goodness, the damage. I love how he doesn't commit there as well. He doesn't E in. He knows that if he E's in here, he's just dead. His team's not in location. The entire enemy team's here. Just EQ. E, GLPQ. Nice with the Graves ult. Go straight bot. I like it. Fast forwarding a little bit here. Go straight bot. Twist of Fate does have ult here, so he does have to be a little bit careful. He doesn't really have an ability to match a Twist of Fate, but he does value the side lane farm, and I'm assuming he just accepts reality that he would rather the farm than just to mindlessly group. Because Sylas is a champion. If you don't farm well, you're like kind of beyond useless. Ends up grouping here, thinking that the skirmish is going to be extended. Wonder how you play this skirmish here. So Jax is on one side, he's on the other. E, GLP, Q, massive Q into W here. Chase, chase, chase. Oh, gets a Q. Turns back. What does he do here? E, W. Oh my... Oh! Oh my goodness! Goes for a nice ult. Holy shit, rookie skirmishing. He's popping off here. Doesn't get the thresh. See if he can get the Cassio here. E in 3, 2, 1. Boom. Nah. Oh my god, he just lets Lee Sin get that. I love that. Holy shit. So... Oh my god, dude. I love that so much. We gotta go back over this skirmishing. Alright, let's go back here. Alright, so... Think about this situation. You're in, let's put ourselves in rookie shoes right now. Lee Sin's dead. Ashe is low with no ultimate. Leona is half HP with no ultimate. He doesn't even have access to ultimate, and he doesn't even have Leonvu's or Zhonya's right now, and no flash. So he has to be very careful now. So he sees Twist of Fate. What does he see here? He sees Twist of Fate here. He sees Cassio. Okay, Jhin. Now Thresh is not here. Thresh is the main form of self-peel for this Jhin, so maybe he feels like this is a relatively easy fight. Now he waits for Leona to go. E into Q GLP. Bang. Onto the Twist of Fate. Chase, chase, chase. Now look at that. So he finishes a Twist of Fate, and his default response is to turn. Again, this is a very important distinction to make here. A lot of noob team fighters, they will just chase. Okay, it's hard to articulate this, but it's always better to peel and get one kill rather than trade like 1 for 1. So let's just say in a situation, and the reason he does it, this is my assumption here. In competitive, let's just say your AD carry is here, getting dove on by the enemy jungler. And you have a choice. I can either chase 1 kill, or I can peel back onto my AD carry. If I peel onto my AD carry, we can sometimes guarantee a kill and... save his life. Or I can chase, I get a kill, but then my AD carry dies as well. So it just ends up being 1 for 1. Yes, there's a chance where he kills the jungler and I kill this person, but it's much more risky. So his default response here, I think, in this situation is to peel. But then he turns back and he realizes that there is nothing to turn back onto. He gets the fruit straight away to buy time. E into W and I love that as well, guys. Notice how he doesn't use E2 instantly. He E's, then W auto. Because he doesn't want to he doesn't want to waste his E2 here. He wants to save his E2. Ends up using this auto here, W. Then E straight onto the Cassio into EQ. Cassio ult. Holds the Cassio ult into beautiful Cassio ult. Doesn't chase here. Waits for his cooldowns very effectively. Then E onto the Thresh. Thresh does a really nice dodge. Flashes away. Now he goes onto the Cassio. Now he knows Cassio is screwed. Cassio is not getting out of this fight. And he sees Lee Sin here. So instead of chasing the Cassio, just let Lee Sin get the kill. And then go for another kill onto the Thresh. Because he saw Thresh basing over here. And he knew Thresh was really low. I love that. Not greedy at all. And must have get seen on a ward or something like that. And ends up trying to chase a Thresh. So beautiful skirmish assessment. Beautiful skirmishing overall. And props to Rookie for the way he played that. Oh, please don't flash for that. Okay, good. He doesn't trade flash onto the Thresh. Thought that'd be way too chaotic. Nice. So, right now he definitely needs to recall. Please don't go for this play, Rookie. This is absolutely ridiculous. Your team is resetting. No. I hate this play from Rookie, man. You can't kill him. No way. You're kidding me. What is he doing here? This is just a waste. If he dies... Come on, rookie. If I'm your coach, I'm very angry with you right now. Such a troll, dude. Okay, why is this a bad play, guys? I don't care what happens, but why is this a bad play? He's got enough gold for Leandri's. His team's coming off a reset. This kill actually does nothing as well. Even if he were to get this kill in Twist of Fate, what does it do? It does nothing because he still needs to reset. There's no Baron available. His team's on bot side and his AD carry's dead. This kill literally does nothing. If he were to recall right now and then come straight back onto top side, maybe get Krugs on the way through, get top, they can control top side. Then if they get a kill, it can actually lead to a Baron. This kill does nothing. This screams to me either autopilot or playing for fun or just, you know, maybe he's filled with adrenaline right now. He just come off that really nice skirmish and he just wants to do something. I don't know. And not only does he waste, he actually wastes his ult here onto the Twist of Fate, which is actually a very important ultimate to steal in mid to late game. So this is a very bad play across the board. And it ends up baiting his team in. This actually could have been a really bad play for his team. And I believe he actually has a shutdown here. So he actually might even have a shutdown. Ends up dying. Gives a 300 gold shutdown to the Jhin. Jax does follow up with the TP and probably killing the Jhin here. And I don't know if they kill the Twist of Fate as well. I mean, I'm just really not a fan of this play. Now, Leona's dying. Trading kills back and forth. Lee Sin's bots. Trade. Yeah, it's just an absolute disaster, honestly. It does nothing. So ends up getting these Leandri's, Rookie the Troll. Fast forwarding a little bit here. Comes off the map straight into a TP. Okay. He's very blood hungry, bloodthirsty here. Holds his E2. Okay, gets a kill here. Very interesting TP. Lee Sin kill. It's a very chaotic, classic Korean solo queue game here. Okay, looks like they're going to be able to get that dragon without him, so he doesn't really need to group here. Can't steal the Cassio ulti yet. Ooh, okay. Backs up. Gets a nice little... Oh my goodness. Notice how he turns around straight away so he doesn't get Cassio ulted. I like it. Healing back up with his corrupting pot and his fleet footwork. Gets a nice Q onto the Cassio. Trading very aggressively. Was actually looking for a nice little sneaky E here onto the Cassio. But then I believe he would have saw Jhin or he was in tower range. So, Rookie's just inting at this point. I don't know what he's doing. Pushing limits. Playing like an absolute psycho. This is objectively a terrible play for him to go for that play. His team was recalling. They just got the dragon. This is the definition, by the way, of lack of teammate awareness. He's just tunneling at this point onto the Cassio. Everyone's been there. You're in this situation. You want to go for the kill. You're fed. You're strong. But again, it's game-losing stuff. So pretty disappointed, honestly, with Rookie going for that play. Fast-forwarding a little bit here. Comes back, gets a Banshee's Veil. I'm assuming he's going to be turning that... not a Banshee, sorry. A Fiendish Codex. I'm assuming he's going to be turning that into a Zhonya's. 30% CDR at the moment, goes straight into the blue buff. Jax is now bot. I believe Jax won't have TP available yet. So he gets the blue insta groups mid, gets the wave out. Priority is very important. Twist of Fate looks like he's matching Jax bot. I'm assuming because Cassio doesn't have TP yet. Because Cassio actually TP to that fight. Now Ashe and Lee Sin, are they on the Baron? Okay, they're actually on the Baron. So what is Rookie doing here? So Rookie is sitting around the corner here. So he doesn't instantly group onto the Baron. He knows that Jhin has to group. He knows that Jhin has to come through here in order to come to the fight. So he's actually waiting around the corner. So he may be looking for a pick in rotation here onto this Jhin. So the VOD actually paused a little bit here. See what he's doing. So Jhin has to walk through here, right? Oh, what a genius. Gets a... Oh... Such a nice heads-up play from Rookie here. Peels back, has E soon. Look at that play into the Jhin ult. Such beautiful awareness. Such beautiful skirmishing. Like, that's a game-winning play right there. Holds his ult as well. Fast-forwarding. Beautiful. I think they would definitely be able to get... Nice E. Misses the Q. Fast-forwarding a bit here. Boom, E, misses the E2 again. He should have used GLP there. And GLP into Q, into Baron. Stock standard stuff. Please reset, guys. Reset. There's literally no point to stay on the map right now. You have a lot of gold. Please spend it. Why is he not basing right now? Infuriates me. Just take the guess. What's the point? You just overstay for no reason. Comes back, gets Magi's, comes back mid. Don't think there's much else to this VOD. Now, he does go into a 1-3-1 here. I'm assuming he goes into 1-3-1 because his team's so far ahead. It's very rare you do see 1-3-1 within the Korean solo queue, but maybe he does this because he does have TP and he knows the enemy composition doesn't have enough burst. Goes for a chaotic dive here, misses the E2, GOP into Q. Dodges the Jin W while he buys time for cooldowns. Now they're playing 2 lanes. I think this is much better. Just a word of warning, guys. When in solo queue, try to avoid 1-3-1 at all costs. I mean, it's very rare that your team can actually get away with effectively 1-3-1ing. Nice. Double in here. Nothing too special here. Looks like there's going to be a nice little skirmish in the base. GOP into E, into W. Nice little E2 on the back end. Doesn't have any cooldowns available. Snipes him with the remaining Q. Nice. Now, so overall, guys, there's a lot to take away from this VOD. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go through another slide and actually cover the main takeaways and I'll say the biggest mistakes and the main learnings from this VOD, guys. So stay tuned. Now for the key takeaways from that VOD review, guys. So let's actually break down the biggest mistakes and things that we really need to avoid within our own solo queue games. The first thing that I saw from this VOD review was that there was a lack of jungle tracking and some very sloppy warding. So let's actually take a look at the warding first. Now, the warding locations, I would say, specifically, they weren't giving him a side to lean to, or they didn't really change the way he could trade within the laning phase. My fundamental, or the principle that I always like to follow with warding is, if the ward doesn't actively change the way you play out the lane, then there's literally no point in putting it there. Take the extra effort to go a little bit further, put it, deeper in the river or in the dot bush or something like that, and then at least you can actually heavy lean to one side or maybe trade a little bit more aggressively, knowing that the jungler can definitely not be in that location or on that side of the map. So that was one thing I was disappointed with from Rookie, and I would say the lack of jungle tracking as well, and the inability to adapt to high elo jungle pathing specifically. Now, this is what surprised me, because in high elo, just because you're versing, say, Graves or a Lee Sin, right? These champions don't really want to do level 2 ganks mid, but they can. They can if you play like a Psycho level 1, level 2, like you did. If you're playing something like a Fizz or a Sylas or any aggressive melee champion, and you trade very aggressive level 1, level 2, they are going to be panning their camera mid, in which they can adapt their path. They can do level 2 ganks mid if they know it will work 100%. So, little bit disappointing from Rookie with that one. The second one was lack of teammate awareness in mid-game. There were multiple times where he was just going for random kills and not taking into account what his teammates were doing, whether they were doing an objective, whether they were prepping for an objective, whether they were heavy trading on the other side of the map, what were they, he just wasn't aware of what his teammates were doing. And specifically, there was that one time where his bot lane just died, and his Lee Sin was looking to trade sides of the map and go to the enemy blue buff. So instead of going onto the bot side and looking for a stupid little trade onto the Twist of Fate, he should have just played to his strong side, played to the Jax versus Cassio, back up his jungler and take an aggressive 2v2, or even a 2v1 on the enemy blue buff. So just multiple times within this VOD where it didn't seem like he was aware of what his teammates were actually doing, and this is a very important skill to develop in basically every single rank. The third one was that overall he had very poor tempo assessment. Not really in the early game. I would say in the early game he didn't really have a choice because he was just behind in tempo all the time because he died twice. But more in mid to late game, he made a play. Just reset. Reset, play for the next objective, reset, go to the side lane, shove out deep, prep for the next objective. He was playing in a very chaotic way that actually dragged his teammates into shitty situations. And just because his Jax was very fed, I think that's the only reason he got away with winning this game. So you think his tempo assessment after plays were made, and I say this a lot within my videos, guys, as soon as a team fight's done, you should be asking yourself, what's next? Do I need a reset? Do I need to take their camps? Can I afford to stay on the map? Do I need to spend my gold? And remembering, guys, that gold doesn't mean shit until you spend it as well. All ties in together. Now, in terms of the key learnings, things that we can look to replicate and take away from Rookie's gameplay, he was great at slowing down the game pace. You can actively see the changing in the trading patterns from levels 1 to 3 when he was playing very aggressive. He died twice, and then he'd never eat in again. He played very slow, stayed high HP, kept the wave on his side, and played very reactively. And I call it proactively reactive in a way because he did it on purpose. But he definitely slowed down the game pace. So definitely, if you weren't really sure what this looks like, watch my game pace video within my solo queue concept series, and go back into that VOD review and literally look at the difference in the trading patterns. The second thing that he did really well was actually his patience in skirmishing, specifically holding abilities. He didn't just rush in with E1 and E2. He played around his cooldowns. He would back up, wait for his cooldowns to come back up. He would position in certain ways where he wasn't always taking damage. Overall, just his skirmishing, his patience, his assessment of abilities, his positioning, overall in skirmishing was just exceptional. And it feels like he really knew his identity in team fights. And most Sylases you see in, like, I would say, like, Platinum Diamond, they just go in. They go in, they go in, go in. They don't understand that it's like, you got to go in, short trade, back off. Go in, short trade, back off. You're not taking Conqueror, especially when you're going fleet. You need to take these little burst-oriented trades and be very creative with your positioning. The third one was creative picks in rotation. There were 2 or 3 times within this game where he could have just easily went to the objective first, both at the Rift Herald section, when he was, as the second Rift Herald was spawning, he was looking for a pick on the Twisted Fate in rotation, and the other time was around the Baron, where he made that really nice little pick onto the Jhin as well. So I can tell that he's looking creatively for picks all the time, specifically around objectives in rotations, catching people in rotation to an objective, because you know when an objective is up, view an objective as like a magnet, and everyone's going to be attracted to that objective. So if you know everyone's going to be going to it, that is your opportunity to make those creative picks in rotation. And the last one here was never compensating for teammates. He accepted reality he was behind. He could not keep Twisted Fate down within the laning phase. He had to accept reality that Twisted Fate was going to get roams off. So he didn't compensate. He played off his key item spikes. There were situations where he could have actually TP'd at half resources and maybe saved a teammate, but he didn't do that. He utilized his strong side lane to actually allow himself to get back into the game and be a key threat, rather than just, like, you know, compensate entirely for the Jax and just make him as strong as possible. So I really respect his ability to just accept reality, not compensate for teammates, and do what's best for him. So hopefully, guys, you took a few things away from this VOD review. If you want to see more of these videos or more of these pro play insights, feel free to let me know in the comments, guys. Cheers, and thanks for watching, guys.